Before you book your next international trip, you need to watch this video. The United States government just proposed something that is stopping travelers in their tracks around the world. And if you're planning to visit the United States in 2026, or even if you're a U.S. resident traveling abroad, what I'm about to cover affects you directly. And I'm talking about mandatory social media history, 5 years of every username and handle that you've ever used on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook, all of it. This is required as part of your travel authorization application just to enter the United States. And that's just the beginning. I'm talking about DNA collection, iris scans, 10 years of email history, a mandatory selfie verified against your passport chip in real time. This is what U.S. Customs and Border Protection is calling maximum vetting, and it is moving forward right now. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what is happening, who it affects, when it takes effect, and most importantly, what you need to do right now to prepare so that it doesn't derail your travel plans. Stay until the end because I have a practical action list that every international traveler needs before they apply for ESTA in 2026. But before I get into the social media specifics, I want to flag something that affects travelers from 42 countries who thought the ESTA process was simple and quick. That process is being completely overhauled, and the window to apply under the old rules may be closing faster than you think. I'm going to cover that in just a moment. But let's start with update number 1, maximum vetting, and what it actually means. Because the scale of what's being proposed here is genuinely significant, and it first deserves to be understood clearly. On December 10th, 2025, U.S. Customs and Border Protection published a formal proposal in the Federal Register, the official journal of U.S. government regulations. The proposal outlines a sweeping overhaul of the ESTA system, that is the electronic system for travel authorization, that citizens of 42 visa waiver countries used to enter the United States for stays of up to 90 days without a full visa. Countries in the visa waiver program include the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Australia, Japan, South Korea, Italy, Spain, and dozens more. If you are a citizen of any of these countries, this affects you directly. Under the new proposal, which is called the maximum vetting, here's what travelers would be required to provide when they're applying for ESTA. They need 5 years of social media history, every username and handle that you have used across every platform. And we talked about it: Instagram, TikTok, X, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, all of it. Not optional, but mandatory. Providing false information or leaving social media accounts out could result in an immediate ESTA denial. 10 years of email addresses. That's what they need. Every email account that you have used in the past decade needs to be disclosed. 5 years of phone numbers. Can you imagine that? Every phone number that you have used in the last 5 years, including old numbers from previous phones or countries. Family member details, names, dates of birth, addresses, and contact information for your parents, your spouse, your siblings, and children. Biometric data. This is the part that surprises people the most. And believe it or not, the proposal includes authority to collect DNA samples, iris scan, and fingerprints as part of the vetting process. A mandatory selfie. The new ESTA mobile app uses real-time liveness detection. This means that you take a selfie that is instantly verified against a chip in your passport to confirm that you're a real live person applying in person. This is a level of personal data collection that has never been required for tourists to any major Western country, and it is moving forward. Update number 2, is this already in effect? Well, here is the honest timeline. This is where clarity really matters, because there is a lot of confusion online about what is happening right now versus what is coming. As of the filming of this video, the social media requirement for ESTA is a formal government proposal, not yet a fully enacted law. It was published in the Federal Register on December 10th, 2025, with a 60-day public comment period that closed on February the 9th, 2026. After the comment period, the rule goes through a 30-day review at the Office of Management and Budget before it can be finalized. The most realistic timeline for implementation based on those steps is about spring of 2026 at its earliest, potentially later in 2026. However, and this is critical, several related changes are already in effect right now. As of December 15th, 2025, all H-1B visa applicants, H-4 dependents, and FM and J visa holders, students, exchange visitors, and specialty workers are already required to set their social media profiles to public so that consular officers can review them as part of the visa application process. The ESTA application fee has already increased from $21 to $40 and is now valid for 2 years. And a $250 visa integrity fee for travelers entering on non-immigrant visas, including tourists, business travelers, and international students, is already being collected. The bottom line is this. Some of these changes are already live, already in effect. The social media requirement for ESTA travelers is coming. And based on the current administration's track record of moving quickly on these policies, waiting to prepare is not a smart strategy. Well, not for you after you finish listening to this video. Coming up is the practical action steps that every international traveler needs to take right now before these rules are finalized, and a critical heads up for travelers planning to visit the US for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. You need to hear this before you book your flight. Continue to stay with me to the end of the video. Now for update number 3, what the government is actually looking for. You have to understand what U.S. authorities are screening for when they review social media. And this is just as important as knowing that they are screening it at all. U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services has stated clearly that any involvement in anti-American or terrorist organizations, as well as any evidence of anti-Semitic activity, will be considered an overwhelming negative factor in any visa or travel authorization decision. More broadly, the U.S. government is expected to closely examine online posts that touch on politically sensitive subjects that diverge from official U.S. positions. Here's what privacy experts and travel attorneys are flagging as the real challenge. Online content is highly context dependent. A joke that's clearly humorous in one culture may read as something completely different to a government reviewer in another country. A protest photo, a political opinion expressed years ago, a comment made in a foreign language that gets mistranslated. All of these are potential red flags in a system that is being built to catch security risks, but that critics warn is highly susceptible to misrepresentation. Travel security experts note that individuals with genuinely harmful intent can simply hide problematic accounts, meaning mandatory reporting may be ineffective, while also inviting inconsistent or arbitrary decisions. What this means practically for travelers, just be aware that your online history is now part of your travel profile. Not just what you're posting today, but what you posted 5 years ago. And that is the reality that we're living in today. Let's continue. Before we move on, I want to mention something that's helped thousands of travelers avoid travel changes. I put together an ebook called 10 Massive Travel Changes that could absolutely wreck your next trip. It covers a breakdown of 10 urgent travel changes, including the ETIAS and UK ETA authorizations, new visa requirements for different countries, passport renewal hacks, AI surveillance at major airports, including France, Japan, and more, digital travel laws, fines, and overstay crackdowns, plus a full list of countries transitioning to e-visas and ETAs, as well as countries transitioning to online visa systems and digital authorizations, and so much more. I'll put the link below in the description. You can go grab it. Now for update number 4, the FIFA World Cup factor. Here's the context that makes all of this especially urgent right now. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is being hosted across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And millions of international fans from around the world are expected to travel to the United States for those matches. Many of those fans are citizens of visa waiver program countries who would normally apply for ESTA in a matter of minutes. Under the new rules, that process becomes significantly more involved and potentially significantly slower, as the custom border process is far more complex when it comes to the applications with human review involvement. For travelers who have World Cup tickets already but don't qualify for ESTA or encounter issues, there is a FIFA Pass system, which is a priority appointment scheduling system that moves eligible applicants to the front of the visa interview queue at U.S. embassies and consulates in their country. That reduces typical wait time significantly. But note, it doesn't guarantee a visa, but it does dramatically speed up access to an interview. If you're planning to attend the World Cup or any World Cup matches in the U.S., in summer 2026, do not wait until the last minute to sort out your travel authorization. Apply now under the current rules while you still can. Okay, so coming up now is the practical checklist I promised. Every international traveler needs to have ready before these new rules are fully in effect. This is the part that will actually help you, so don't skip this one. Update number 5, what this means for U.S. travelers going abroad. Here's a question a lot of American travelers are asking right now. Does any of this affect me when I travel internationally? I'm glad you asked. The direct answer is not from the U.S. side. These are entry requirements to the U.S. for people coming into the United States, not leaving the country. However, and this is worth knowing, other countries are watching these developments very closely and carefully. There are serious concerns that expanded vetting could create chilling effect on free expression, with Americans potentially self-censoring when communicating with friends or family abroad, aware that their online activity may be reviewed by foreign governments in reciprocal vetting programs. So the US is doing it, and other countries will do the same. Several European governments have already expressed concern about the US proposals and are considering how to respond. The travel relationship between the US and its traditional allies is shifting in ways that may have long-term implications for how freely Americans can travel internationally without scrutiny of their own digital histories. For now, U.S. citizens traveling abroad are not directly affected by these specific ESTA proposals, but staying informed is a smart way to travel in 2026. Update number 6, the practical action checklist I promised. What to do right now. Here's the part that actually helps you. Specific steps to take right now, whether you're an international visitor planning a U.S. trip or just want to be prepared for what's coming. Here we go through the steps. Step number 1, apply for ESTA now if you have a U.S. trip planned. The current application process is still relatively simple. A $40 fee, basic personal information, and currently optional social media disclosure. Apply under the current rules before the new requirements are finalized. A current ESTA approval is valid for 2 years and covers multiple trips. So applying now locks you into the existing process for the next 2 years without having to deal with that social media, those new rules. Step number 2, start documenting your social media history right now. Even if you apply now, it's smart to get ahead of the inevitable. Make a list of every social media account that you have used in the last 5 years. Active accounts, old accounts, deleted accounts. If you can, remember them. Please remember them if you can. Same for email addresses and phone numbers going back 10 years. This sounds tedious, I know, but doing it now in a calm, organized way is far better than scrambling the night before a trip. Step number 3, review your social media with fresh eyes. Go through your profiles, particularly older posts, and think about how content might be interpreted outside the cultural context in which you posted it. You don't need to delete your entire history, but being aware of what's there and understanding that reviewers may not have the same cultural context that you do is genuinely important. Step number 4, if you're on a work or student visa, make your profiles public now. H-1B, H4, FM, and J visa holders are already required to have public social media profiles as part of the review process. If this applies to you and your profiles are still private, change that now and review them for anything that could raise red flags. Step number 5, watch for official updates. The official source for ESTA, for the ESTA rule changes, is U.S. Customs and Border Protection website at cbp.gov and the Federal Register at federalregister.gov. These are the only authority sources that you need to look at. Not travel blogs, not social media rumors. Check them yourself before any planned U.S. trip. Here's the balanced truth about everything that we just covered. The United States is implementing the most significant overhaul of its visitor vetting system in decades. Some of it is already in effect, as you can see. More is coming, likely by mid to late 2026. The scale of personal data being requested is genuinely unprecedented for tourist-level travel. Whether you think these measures are necessary for national security or an overreach into personal privacy, the practical reality is the same. Being informed and prepared is your best protection. Apply for ESTA early if you have U.S. travel planned. Document your digital history now while it's manageable. And keep watching this space here on True Travel Treasures because these rules are still evolving. And if this video helped you understand what's happening right now and what to do about it, please hit that like button and share this video with anyone you know who has U.S. travel planned for this year. They genuinely need to see this video. I'm not kidding. And please subscribe to True Travel Treasures so that you're always ahead of the travel changes that matter before they catch you at the departure gate. Remember to grab that ebook I mentioned titled 10 Massive Travel Changes That Could Absolutely Wreck Your Next Trip. It covers much more changes that you need to know about. Get it today and you'll thank me later. Have a safe and informed travel. See you in the next video and thank you so much for watching.